Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. Before we start, I did not realize that the table of contents had added more things. Like, the last time I actually looked at the table of contents, which was, like, yesterday. Let's see, if I scroll... Yeah, I don't remember this Tales main list being here the last time I was on this website. I mean, it very well could have been. I'm not going to go back and check, but I didn't notice it, and it looks like it could be inconvenient now that it's there. Let's check it out. Below you'll find recreations of each series list, which include all on-site works by the star, or that star, reference, or otherwise include individual SCPs slotted conveniently beneath each entry for your reading pleasure. Huh. This really is really interesting, and I'm sick of these freaking ads. What the heck? 2017's Anime of the Year. Watch subbed and dubbed. Made in Abyss. I've never heard of it, but congratulations to 2017. Anyway, let's get back to the meat of the episode, which is the Lunar Anomaly. The Lullabugs, the Lunar Anomaly, Weather Preserves, Dream Bridge, and the Film Hall. So, is it Lullabugs like lullaby or Lullabugs like my grandmother? SCP-851 is to be kept in a 5x5x2 meter biotic simulation chamber placed upon several hydraulics to allow movement of the chamber. I am a biotic god. The floor of the containment chamber is to be covered in soil 0.5 meters in height. Every day the chamber is to be shifted until the soil collapses into its natural state. Every 20 hours, 851 is to be fed one live cow. Alright. And here's those bugs consuming the remains of disposable 7896, bottom right. I think I see a person. 851 is a large colony of insects similar in appearance to Eceton burkeli. This colony numbers between blank 100 and blank 1,000 at any given time. 851 lacks a queen and reproduces asexually. 851 creates its hills in a vertical and obtrusive manner of reaching approximately 1.2 meters in height. This behavior has been determined as a way of luring in curious prey. If an endothermic organism enters within a 3-meter radius of 851's hill, it will burrow in a straight line towards the organism. 851 appears to be able to burrow through any soil at up to 11 kilometers per hour. I guess we should probably see what this thing actually is. If I could turn back time. Let's see. It's, a species of New World army ant. It looks kinda terrifying. So then, once 851 reaches the organism, it will emit a high-pitched noise. Mammals and birds are highly affected by this and show signs of heavy sedation. SCP-851 will then entirely consume the organism. Why is that a SCP-743? Why? What? Wait. Is this SCP the bugs that this SCP sends out? Is this the same... Are these the same bugs that come from the chocolate fountain thing? 851 will migrate and create a new hill every blank to blank days. I can only assume it's like 5 to 9 or something. Addendum 1. Examination of the noise emitted by 851 has shown that it has melodic fluctuations. When slowed, the noise produced contained elements of speech. Researchers were able to distinguish the following. Your drowsy head, time to sleep, and listen to, we will feed, to sleep. Good night. Addendum 2. The previous recording was shown to several personnel that did not have English as a native tongue. Personnel were able to interpret the recording in their own language, and translations matched the recorded output. Next up is the Lunar Anomaly. What's wrong with the moon? Whatever's wrong with the moon, it's safe. SCP-852 is presently housed in an underground hangar at Site Blank. The artifact is not permitted to leave containment without O5 approval. Testing of components requires level 4 oversight and 1 unit of Task Force Sigma-6 to be on hand. Alright. SCP-852 was a steel and brass vehicle, strongly reminiscent of a bathyscaphe? Bathyscaphe? What is that? A free-diving, self-propelled deep-sea submersible. Okay. with the name Wings of Daedalus in gold-plated brass affixed to the lower hull. The vehicle has a length of 21.3 meters with a beam of 4.1 meters and a draft of 7.3 meters in total. The upper hull of the artifact has 12 masts affixed to it with a length of 9.6 meters, set in 2 regular hexagonal patterns on the top and bottom of the upper hull, respectively. Each mast has a device on the end which projects a bubble which warps space around it in a way that does not match current space-time theories. Presently, the devices are vacuum welded to the mast, making them difficult to remove for study. The lower hull of the vehicle is a sphere 3.8 meters in diameter and appears to be designed for life support. The lower hull has a fused quartz window for viewing, a control board with a robust chair, an airlock on the starboard side, and storage areas along the aft with a variety of tools and provisions. Power and oxygen were provided by reserves in the upper section, with quicklime used to absorb carbon dioxide in the ventilation system. The control board and storage areas have also been affected by vacuum welding, but they were repairable. SCP-852-2 is a mummified Caucasian male wearing a pressure suit of primitive manufacture, resembling a diving helmet and suit but with a supplementary air tank and ventilation to remove excess carbon dioxide. The suit has hoses in its backpack to provide air and power, which match hoses connected to 852 by its airlock. The connecting hoses have been severed 12.46 meters from the backpack of the suit, with the cut area having a mirror-like appearance. The suit itself has 2 holes with a similar finish to the hose cut. A third hole is located in the air tank. Addendum. 852 was originally located on Mare Imbrium, approximately 7 kilometers from the lunar outpost. Telescopic viewing of the area by satellites showed an anomalous formation, and Task Force Sigma-6 went to investigate. The task force located 852, its batteries drained and its airlock open to space but severely otherwise undamaged. Tracks from the airlock led to the location of 852-2, approximately 70 meters from the airlock. Analysis of the scene showed that 2 met with unknown hostiles, which first severed the hoses of the suit, then shot 2 in the back while he fled, piercing the suit and killing him either by trauma or asphyxiation. While the tracks made by 2 are readily apparent, there are no tracks or any other evidence of the assailants. Well, this, sucks for that guy. It looks like they didn't really have anything to do with the moon other than it happening on the moon, which means there's something on the moon that kills folk. But why he was on the moon in a submarine is beyond me. Weather preserves. They're safe. I don't know what I thought weather preserves was going to be, but it looks like it's peach preserves or something like fruit preserves you'd put in a mason jar, but instead of fruit, it's weather. And now, here's the weather. In order to prevent breaking 853, individual instances are to be separately packed in padded boxes measuring no smaller than 25 by 25 by 40 centimeters. Except when being studied, all instances are stored in Secure Containment Locker 37 at Meteorological Research Station 21. If access is required, consult Dr. B for the combination. Caution is advised when testing 853 due to the lack of specificity of the labeling. See After Action Report 853 IOTA. I have no idea if I just said this word the right way. 853 consists of blank 100, that might be 1,000, sealed canning jars of various sizes and makes. Each instant contains a differently colored substance with a visually determined viscosity similar to that of firm gelatin. The lid of each jar is labeled with masking tape, upon which is written the name of a weather pattern and a year. Examples include 12, which is Gentle Summer Rain, 1979, 145, Furious Tornado, 1952, and Blinding Dust Storm, 1982, used to say 81. At least 3 different styles of handwriting are present. Instances of 853 are no more durable than commercially available canning jars of the same size. Sorry. When an instance of 853 is opened, the contents immediately begin to violently sublimate and vanish completely within 12 seconds. Between 7 minutes and 22 hours later, a weather system matching that described on the label will manifest at the site the instance was opened, regardless of the original or normal weather pattern or weather systems for that area. Anomalous weather patterns will persist for a minimum of 30 minutes and dissipate thereafter. The exact rate of dissipation appears to be related to how different the anomalous weather pattern is from the normal regional climate. Use of 853 instances to assist in the containment of additional anomalous weather patterns, including instances of SCP-1746, is pending review. Addendum. On March 19th something, 853-112 Light Drizzle 1932 and 853-193 Pleasant Breeze 1944 were opened simultaneously at Meteorological Research Station 20. The resultant thunderstorm produced over 1 meter of rain and wind speeds up to 88 kilometers and persisted for 18 hours before dissipating. Any further proposals to test more than one instance of 853 at a time must be approved by both Dr. B and Dr. J, and at least one of whom must be off-site at the time of testing. Addendum. On Christmas, some year, the Foundation detected a snowstorm over the town of Blank, Australia. Investigation resulted in the acquisition of an additional blank 100 instances of 853 from the basement of an elderly woman by the name of The handwriting on the lids of the new instances were different from those already contained, but matched that of Mrs. M. Mrs. M died of a myocardial infarction upon her detainment before an interview could be conducted. Okie dokie. Dream Bridge. It's also safe. SB-854 is contained on U.S. Bureau of Land Management property in blank state. Roads and trails, that's probably Washington. Nothing else is said like that. It's probably Washington. Roads and trails leading to the site have been closed for maintenance and rendered impassable, while cameras monitor the site and all approaches to it. Supervising personnel are authorized to use any non-lethal means to deter trespassers. So, hit them with a baseball bat or shoot them with beanbags, but don't terminate them. That's a first. Barriers erected at the ends of the arch prevent access except under controlled circumstances. Wild animals are not permitted in the area in order to prevent unsupervised disappearances. SCP-854 is a natural arch formation eroded from sandstone in blank blank, and known locally as the Dream Bridge. Despite its precarious appearance, it is exceptionally stable and can support in excess of 400 kilograms without difficulty. A single large pictogram in an unknown language adorns the base of the structure, but it is otherwise naturally formed. The arch has no observable anomalous properties unless the top is traversed, like a bridge, from east to west. Animals and people crossing from west to east, walking under or around the formation, or otherwise interacting with it in any other way experience nothing out of the ordinary. Living animals that cross the arch from east to west vanish at the midpoint of the structure. No organism that has disappeared has ever been recovered. Contact with the arch is necessary for this phenomenon, as birds flying above it in the same direction experience no effects. Non-living items such as remote control vehicles also cross without interruption. No energy discharge, spatial irregularity, or other ancillary phenomenon has been detected that explains the mechanism of the disappearances. Eyewitnesses and sensor recordings suggest the subject simply ceased to exist the moment they reached the halfway point atop the arch, whatever. Recording equipment carried by or attached to test subjects vanishes along with them, halting any transmissions. Local lore ascribes various supernatural properties to the Ark and its environs. Usually the Ark is depicted as a gate or bridge to another realm, often spiritual in nature, which must be venerated or guarded. Certain oral traditions state that those who cross the bridge are granted an audience with Mother Sky, a local divinity figure. In past times of need, a messenger would brave the journey to bring news of her people's plight and a gift to sway her will. Whether the messengers carried the gift with them or were themselves the gift varies based on the account. Capture summary. The Dream Bridge arch formation has a history of anomalous stories and myths related to it, but was not examined by the Foundation until 19-something. An amateur vacation video filmed by Nancy Blank of Blank Blank showed a ground squirrel being chased by the family dog across the arch, both vanishing in mid-stride at the center. The video was played on local news channels before being explained as a trick of the lighting and recovered by Foundation agents. Other than the aforementioned disappearances, no abnormal properties attributed to the site in folklore have ever been verified by the Foundation. Incident Report 1. On February 18, 2000-something, a radio-labeled Foundation tracking tag was intermittently detected 200 kilometers southwest of Nord Greenland by satellite systems. A recovery team located and collected the device, which lay exposed on a remote hilltop. The team also collected 3 metal zippers, 3 brass buttons, a variety of crushed electrical components, 2 gold tooth fillings, hundreds of flint and obsidian axe heads, spear points, and carvings, and a pair of metal pet tags from the same location. The tracking device was identified as one used in Foundation experiments with 854 in 1980-something. No further items sent through 854 have appeared at this location, perhaps due to some time delay phenomenon. Experiments and observations are ongoing. Okie dokie, and that brings us to the film hall. Will it also be safe, or Euclid, or will it just be keyed out of nowhere? Okay, it's Euclid. 4 members of security are to be present outside 855's location at all times. No staff are to enter during horror, surreal, action, science fiction, or disaster phases. Any entities attempting to leave 855 during the horror phase are to be dispatched by the security staff. Any personnel entering during its western phase are to be monitored by security staff for signs of aggression. During all other phases, research staff are free to enter and monitor 855. Description: SCP-855 is the designation given to Lecture Hall blank located at Site blank. 855 is equipped to seat 100 personnel. One reinforced skylight is present on the ceiling to allow the entry of manual light, or natural light. Each month, 855 will redecorate itself and temporarily develop anomalous properties, seemingly themed after genres of film. This continues for the entirety of the month and has taken the form of manifestation of entities, mind-altering effects, and hallucinations. So, January was action! Reports of explosions came from within 855. Security was called in to investigate, at which point a sports car burst through the doors into 855, running over one member of security. Personnel later reported a man in a tuxedo firing at them with a pistol from within the vehicle. Vehicle vanished 30 seconds later. February was Detective Noir. Researchers within 855 temporarily adopted a pessimistic attitude. Light spectrum appeared to be affected, causing all researchers to turn monochrome. March was surreal. All researchers disappeared without a trace. Mobile Task Force film critics were sent in for a retrieval mission. One member was recovered 20 days after entry, the rest were declared KIA. Survivor claims that 855 contained a room that stretched on for miles with things in it. The survivor did not respond to further inquiry regarding the nature of said entities. April was comedy. Rate of research accidents surrounding 855 increased by 50%. Multiple personnel reported disembodied laughter. May was Western. Increased aggression noted in personnel inside 855. Multiple fights break out. After researchers were evacuated, the doors leading to 855 opened independently, at which point a single tumbleweed emerged. June is disaster. All personnel evacuated from 855. Analysis of 855 via camera drone shows dangerously high levels of radiation. Large rat-like creature detected by camera drone. July, gangster. Footage camera drone used to monitor 855 showed a large city similar to 1950 Chicago. Every individual on the street appeared to be dressed in a manner of a stereotypical gangster. August was drama. Upon entering 855, researchers became highly aggressive and began insulting and arguing with those nearby. September was science fiction. Entry was strictly forbidden as sensors indicated no oxygen was present within. October is war. Sounds of conflict were audible from within. Security were called in to prevent a repeat of the action incident. A World War II-era tank subsequently emerged and fired upon security, killing 3 of them. It vanished 30 seconds later. November was horror. Historical November was historical. Recording from camera drones sent in the 855 showed a portrayal of Rome at the height of the Roman Empire. Further analysis revealed several historical inaccuracies, as all individuals were observed to speak clear English with some obvious accents. And December was horror. A heavy-set man with a noose around his neck emerged from within 855 wielding a large knife. Blank personnel killed during partial containment breach. Security later reported that bullets had little effect on the entity. So is that because they were in there and then he got out, or should they just keep that door locked during December for ever? But in any case, whatever they do with that door, that does it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki, which was much quicker than they usually are. In the next episode, we'll be checking out the Leopodamus, the human-based ecosystem, Gravity's Rainbow, Arachnophobic Orb, and Blue Key. So it sounds like we'll have yet another episode with some sort of weirdness with bugs in it. Well, arachnids. Same thing. It's still small with more legs than anything should have. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you'll need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.